Quel tuo che hai fatto all'occhio.
Spaccò le pietre in una cava e una scheggiava.
E da quel giorno il suo occhio è diventato tutto bianco e ha iniziato ad avere superpoteri.
Dai, veloci, dai! Veloci, l'avete capito o no?
E questo che cazzo è?
È quello nuovo.
Mi devi spiegare meglio come vanno le cose qui.
Papà ti fa una promessa. La mamma non se n'è andata via per sempre. Te la riporto.
Tu sei Antò.
Ti fai sempre male quando non ci sono io.
Hello, my name's Adrian Wootton, and I am the curator of Cinema Made in Italy. Now, the Cinema Made in Italy program, supported very much by Film Italia, Cinecittà Istituto Luce, is normally in a cinema in London with a whole group of films at this time of year, and we're welcoming the filmmakers on stage in the cinema. Well, circumstances have prevented us doing that. But nevertheless, with technological ingenuity and the support of Film Italia and our platform partners, the platform MUBI, I have been able to select 9 fantastic new films from the contemporary Italian cinema, which will be presented on MUBI between the 16th and the 29th of April. And as part of that program, I'm also delighted with the support of the Italian Cultural Institute that we're able to bring you interviews with the filmmakers and performers who feature in those 9 films. So it's really exciting. And this is one of those interviews. And I'm delighted to welcome back to virtual London. I really wish you guys were with us on a real stage in a real cinema in front of a real audience, but that's not to be. I'm still delighted that we are able to present your film and talk to you about your film. So it's great to have the writers and directors of Promessa, or The Stonebreaker, with us today. It's wonderful that Gianluca and Massimiliano Di Serio are both here to talk to me and hopefully share some insights about the making of this wonderful new film. So thank you, gentlemen, and welcome to our virtual Cinema Made in Italy.
Thank you for the invitation.
We are really glad to be here, even if we are not there.
Exactly.
We are everywhere.
No, here, there, and everywhere. No, and I remember. I mean, this has been a long time since I've last seen you, because the last time you were in London was 2011 with 7 Acts of Mercy. And so a lot of water under the bridge. You've obviously made another film as well, a documentary, River Memories, in that time. But I'm just wondering, my first question is really, in terms of getting from 7 Acts of Mercy to here, you know, what was the gestation? How? Because obviously it's a long time. Was it a long time because you couldn't find the right story you wanted to tell, or does this go back a long way, this film? So tell us about the genesis of Promessa.
It was a long time, maybe for different reasons. First of all, we didn't find a strong story at the beginning, suddenly after the release of 7 Acts of Mercy. And I remember that we fell in a sort of crisis, both existential and also an art crisis, I don't know. And so we start to meditate about this crisis, maybe too much, but it was a strong period for us, because we start to analyze ourselves as twins and also as directors who work together. And so we decided to make a certain experience, a sort of an experimental movie that was also a scientific experimental, because we decided to hypnotize both together in the same moment, and we came back to our mother, come si dice?
Womb.
Womb.
Oh yeah,
Womb,
your
in
mother's womb.
hypnosis.
Yeah.
And we shot this moment with 5 cameras, and it was a sort of way for us to elaborate this moment of crisis, but also to come back to our state of union when we were in our mother. And so suddenly after this short, we start to make this long documentary that was very long period, because we stayed in a shanty town along a river in our hometown Torino for 2 years, shooting the everyday life of this community. And so it took us a lot of time, and we have not space to think another feature film. But Spaccapietre, Una Promessa, we think that was born from the ashes of this documentary, because we spent a lot of time in a shanty town, and a part of this film, this new film, is in a shanty town.
Yes.
So it was important for us to, maybe all this more long period was important to prepare Spaccapietre.
And in terms of, it was interesting you talking about the genesis of the film there from your documentary. The thing is that this, and you talked about your mother, this is a film that is, without giving too much away about the story, this is a film about a father and the son, and a father and son who lose the mother, lose the wife. And I'm giving anything away. That happens at the very beginning of the movie. The mother dies, and they then embark on this journey, this journey of survival, of kind of some kind of redemption. And what I'm really interested in is that what I like about the film very much is that it really does focus on these dispossessed people, these marginalized people, these people who live on the borders of our society. And I wondered how much of the film was you wanting to tell the story of these migrant workers, these people who are abused, who are exploited, and how much was it you wanted to tell the story of a father and son? What was the balance between those, wanting to tell those two stories?
I think that, the main goal of our movie is to take the viewers in a invisible and hidden universe that still exists in our society, but we are not able to see. So this is the first goal. Then how to make it this journey that is a look journey. It's like we needed to have a story very emphatic and very a love story in which everyone can identify a little bit, enter, and through this couple of father and son go in that universe. So it's like one dimension, it's necessary to the other one.
Yes.
So the balance, it's also a balance between political and social and spiritual. That are the two levels in which the movie moves along the storyline.
And in terms of the title, because I'm interested in, Stonebreaker and Promise, and it seems to me that there are several promises. The mother makes a promise to the son at the very beginning of the movie about taking him somewhere which she can't take him. But then, and there's all, I want to talk about archaeology as well. And then the father makes a promise to the son about bringing his mother back, and about how, in a way, she does come back. And I just wondered about the title and what the importance of promises in the film.
Well, it's a difficult question because the first title, the Italian title, is Spaccapiete, that it means stonebreaker,
Yeah.
because first of all, because of the job
Of the father, yeah.
the former job of the father in the film, that it was inspired by our grandfather's job.
All right.
Our grandfather was a stonebreaker in a little village in the south of Italy, and when his wife died, in the same way, in the same area as the mother of the film, the mother of Anto died, he decided after some years, very difficult years, alone with 5 sons, to come to Torino, to go away from the village, to go to the north, and it started to work in the Fiat factory. So Stonebreaker was the first title, and we really loved it. Then we changed for the international release of the film because of the difficult pronunciation, also the difficult translation of this word. And then we also, it was for us, it was a chance to think about our movie after we did it. And we said, okay, it's a violent story, it's a strong story about someone who, stone breaker, that break the stones, but in the same time it's also very sweet. Also because the actors gave to our story this witness and also this kind of love, as you spoke about it before. So, and then we decided that maybe also because we are two and we have different thought about our stories. Sometime I'm more optimistic and my brother is more negative, or maybe some end of our movies are in different way to see them for each other. And so we decided to give this opposite title for the international release in Italian, Una Promessa, because we think that at the end of the film, and I will let our audience to enter inside this, gradually enter inside this end, there is no end. There is no end. There is a new beginning, that it means also a new hope to survive and also to live better. And when you talk about your first promise that the mother told to the son, said, I will take you to the archaeological park. It's true, they don't go all together, but it's also true that when they start this journey, the father and the son, they enter in a sort of ancient world, also with as a sort of archaeological.
Yeah.
That it's so also inside themselves, but also in our society and in the story of our family and in the root of the violence of everyday life in this kind of situation.
And it's interesting for both of you. You've brought up archaeology, because I was going to say that. I was going to say, well, he doesn't go to the archaeological park, but he then does go and work on a farm where they are digging things up, and they are, and the guys are actually, they're finding things which they're then essentially stealing and hiding. And I just wondered, because the boy, the main character, the boy, he wants to be an archaeologist. What is the archaeological theme? What is that? Was it? Did one of you want to become archaeologists, or is there something?
Not at all.
Because it has a metaphoric quality. It's not just literal. It seems to me the use of archaeology in the film.
The word archaeology means several things, different things. But first of all, is a dream. But it's a strange dream for a boy of 10 years old, because it's something that looks like very, almost impossible.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's like he goes in this deep universe, and he finds out something that is not only stones, but also mostly human relationship that are archaeological. It's like something that still exists since centuries. This almost animal relation, no? So in this point of view, the word archaeology means also the old way to relate ourselves. No,
it's also linked to the theme of the death.
Yes, sure, because it's a journey that it's a journey in a death world. No, we say in Italian al di là, in hereafter. I mean, in the story, in the plot means archaeological. I mean, the job, but in the inner meaning, it has this other significance.
Yes, I did wonder about the kind of myth of Orpheus and in that context, because it seems to have that sort of, you're entering Hades when they get onto that farm. There's no two ways about it. And I wanted to ask you, I mean, you said yourself that the film is violent. It's really a very, very powerful drama, which does have these moments of lightness, of touch, but then the tone becomes progressively darker. And I think it's beautifully shot, and I'll ask you about that in a minute, but it's beautifully shot. But it then becomes a kind of, it does become almost like a revenge or a redemptive drama. That this guy is taking, he's going to destroy these incredibly evil people who run this farm, and the film changes tone. And I was, I mean, one of the things I loved about it is that I was, wow, I wasn't expecting that. It really surprises you the way in which the film seems to be, oh, we're depicting a particular world here, a world of migrant workers, and showing the oppressed and marginalized. And then suddenly the leading character becomes an avenger. And I just wondered how important it was to have that, the father break out and become a revenge figure, a figure who avenges the past, avenges the present.
One thing that you say, Avenger, our art makeup artist worked in Avenger too. Sue Howard. You will see in the movie.
She's a British woman.
So anyway, there is this theme of you say the dark side of the movie, that it take place progressive at the end, the second part of the movie. We like to take the gaze of the young boy step by step. In the same moment, we like also that his father takes this gaze in the same time. So when they enter inside this exploitation universe, and also this also where the evil is clear, who is he? We didn't want to make a realistic movie in the sense of an illustration of what happens in the countryside with the migrants. No, we want to make a movie where it's clear how and where the good and the evil are.
Like in a fairy tale.
We decided to choose, for example, actors with certain body and faces, and with the way to act that we liked, also for this dark and theater atmosphere. So we play to mix everything And we also let that these bodies, these gaze of the boy lead us with also this kind of moment of visions, no? But in the same time, we always had the line and the direction of our movie that it was as a flash, no? It was from point A to point Z, directly to the end. It was always a revenge movie in our thought. Then we modified it with the narration, with the actions, with the relation between characters, and we didn't make it as we played with the also registers of the movie. So it's a love story, as my brother said, but it's also a revenge movie. But we don't care about it.
I think that's what's really clever about the film, because you skillfully, very skillfully play with genre, but it isn't a genre movie. It uses elements of the genre movies, but it actually escapes being pigeonholed, put into a box of one of the, because you do exactly as you say, you shift those registers as the film goes along. And I like very much the analogy, because that's what I thought when I was watching. I thought this is like a Gothic fairy tale, you know, where you have an authenticity, a reality, because those migrant workers' lives, that is the reality of those people, but you're going also in quite a different direction with it, and the look of the film. You worked with a French cinematographer. How did that come about? That collaboration.
The French cinematographer was a suggestion made by the French co-producer. So we choose him because he worked in several different kind of movies. I mean, in that sense that you were talking about before. So he worked in social dramas, or in love stories and documentaries. So he has a very large look, and also very different kind of experiences in his career. So with him, we decided to play a little bit with these experiences, and to play also with the registers and the tone of the movie. So the frame is a social mellow, but then we cross in the noir and in the more thrilling, and at the end it is revenge, and also splatter, almost splatter.
It does become a horror movie a little bit at the end.
Yeah, and there is something of horror, yes, because the giants and this dark night in the end. But with him, we worked a lot before to find out the most the most useful format, yes.
Format.
And color too.
Also the color range, because the source of inspiration was a painting by Courbet, the Stone Breakers.
Yes.
It is a lost painting because it was destroyed during the Second War. And in this painting, there are two stone breakers together, the olders and the younger, together working with the stones, and the pattern of color is a kind of moutarde. I mean, we say moutarde with
mustard.
Yes.
Yeah, mustard. Yeah.
And we decided to use this color through the movie, and also the format is this 166. That is the old
format. Yeah, it's not used very much at all.
No, but for us it was the right one, because it creates a kind of cage for the characters, in which they are really not very able to escape from. So, and also it's a kind of claustrophobic format.
Yes, yes.
But at the
At the
same
same
time,
time,
they stay together.
yes,
Yes.
they always stay together, and it was difficult to find out the right one because they are very different between each other. The father is big and large, and the son is small and little. So together, if we had used a cinemascope, we lost this possibility to stay together.
That's really, really illuminating, and it's very helpful, I think, to hear that how you created that color palette and that mise en scène. And I wanted to ask you one other thing, which is, you know, we've talked about it, but the casting of the film seems to me to be wonderful. I mean, obviously, Salvatore Esposito, but actually the boy is fantastic. And I just wondered, in terms of Samuele, was that a difficult casting process? Because working with children is often very hard for other actors, but it's also very hard for you as filmmakers. Can you talk about the casting of the film and the relationship between the actors?
I can say that we really love work with children and with teenager. We always did it with in the documentaries too, and so we didn't fear about it at the beginning. In the same time, it was a big question mark for us because we wanted the real Anto in our movie. But
Yes.
who is the real character of a movie? Until the moment that you meet him, you can't say, because the actor can give to the character a lot of more than you thought about before. And so also the script is a very thought script, but in the same time is also very free. This open, it's an open source for the actor,
Yes.
for us. So we start to make a journey several times. We found a lot of locations, but in the same time we went into the schools and in the gyms and in the swimming pools looking for young boys, and finally we found some hundred of them, and we decided to call them in different period of the year. And Samuele, the actor who plays Anto, come back every time to the casting because we choose him again and again, another time. At the end, we said, okay, I think that it's the right one. And in the same time, it was one. We never make again some sequences of some scenes of the film because of him. Never. He never made a mistake on the
Wow.
set. It's really, I said, really, we made a lot of mistakes, but he never did it. So one thing that he also gave to the film is something related to our use of camera, because when a young boy, we wanted a gaze always in movement. The opposite that we make with the 7 Acts of Mercy, our previous film, that it's a still movie without just 2 or 3 movements there are in this movie. In Spaccapietre, even in the very fixed moment, we have a movement of our gaze on the little movement of the camera, and we used everything that we can use in a movie with our DOP. And I think that it's also was because our choice of Samuele, because it was a guy always in movement, always never fixing in a place. Always, oh, I have an idea. Why not this one? Oh, I can say this. So we also changed the dialogues. It was maybe the most beautiful part of our job. I think, not Gianlu. What do you think about it?
Yes, I agree with this, and I just can add that Samuele has very, very big memory. I mean, he remembers everything. Each line of the script is still now, he remembers very well. So that's also was a point that convinced us to ask him to be the protagonist, because the set was very fast, not a lot of time, not many months or weeks, and so we needed to actors very present and not follow them and trying to make it best. So it was a help for us.
We're running out of time, but I had one other question, but which you partly answered, because I was fascinated, because obviously your first film was from where you came from in terms of Turin. Your documentary was the river out of Turin. But obviously this is Apulia. Well, at least part you filmed in Apulia, and you went south. And is it set in the south because of your grandfather? Is that why you did it? Because it was a kind of question in the sense of you retracing your roots, going back to your grandfather's past. Is that why it's set in the south of Italy?
It's right. The set of our movie is the area where our grandparents came from. And also the story of this woman that died in the countryside working under the exploitation of the boss. It's the same story of our grandmother. She died in 1958, so a lot of time ago.
Oh, yeah.
She died, but in the same area and in the same condition of work.
Wow. Okay.
Working as a peasant in a countryside. She was pregnant of 2 twins like us, that they died after this long day of work, and after some days she dies too. So we wanted to rendere omaggio, give homage.
Render a homage.
Render homage to this woman that we never met, but we always heard about her in the storytelling of our parents. So it was very important for us, and also to give a kind of spirituality to her, a soul, to meet her in another body,
yes.
Like in a kind of crazy metempsychosis. And so I think that for us it was a very also personal reason that's pushed us to write the story.
That comes across, and that resonates very well, and the film, as I said, looks fantastic. Well, I think we're kind of officially out of time, but so I'm going to stop at this point. But I'm just going to say thank you so much for your very, very eloquent and very well articulated answers to my questions today, and congratulations on a terrific movie. I know the audience is going to watch this, on MUBI, are really going to enjoy Una Promessa, and it's great to see your second fiction movie, and I hope we get to see the third one with you back in London on a cinema stage where I'll have the opportunity to host you in person.
Thanks, Adrian. Really thanks to selecting our movies. Thanks also for your wonderful words, and also thanks to Film Italia and Cinecittà Luce to give also to the movie these very important possibilities, because it's the second movie, and everybody said, oh, the second movie, it will be most important than the first. Okay. I don't know, I always scramble. Anyway, thanks, really, it's important, and it's a pity that we can't come there. I think that when we will make another movie, I hope that this pandemic situation will be end. I hope, because if not, it was really terrible.
No, we all hope that, and I'm sure it will. We'll say thank you very much for participating, and I echo all your thanks to Film.
Thank you very much.